and VET SOS. Shawn, how are you? And I want, before we get started in the topic, latest news with VET SOS, meaning regarding the 5013C. You're getting closer.
How you doing today, Neil? Yeah, thanks for having me on again. And we're continuing to move forward, and so the paperwork's been filed with the federal government. We're hoping to get it back this year approved. We have the board put together. The board is going to have its first meeting here this month. We're getting ready to launch our fourth show here in July, and then we got shows 5 and 6 getting ready to happen. And we're even in talks with a couple organizations for the online recording platform we're trying to do for the personal videos. So a lot of things moving. It's slow and steady, but we're moving forward and we're looking forward to what we can actually accomplish here as a team.
Well, we've covered so many topics in the last, I lost track of episodes we've done on the Neil Haley Show. And today's really a great episode. I love the fact that we talk about creative veterans. We're going to talk about how, when as veterans, how we use our creative side, music, film, art. And some of your podcasts have covered those types of stories, but it's really important. The creative side makes you hungry. It makes you, if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, it becomes old, monotonous, and boring. But when you're becoming creative and trying to learn new things, which there's so many new things to learn now. That's huge, and I think you're definitely encouraging veterans to become creative.
Yeah, I never really thought of myself as a creative person in the traditional sense, I guess. Like never really thought about doing a podcast or anything like that. Uh, but with the mentor push me to do this, it's forced me to get out of my comfort zone, and that's a big thing that I like to tell veterans is get out of your comfort zone. In transition, there is so many opportunities out there, and just by being willing to walk through different doors, I have been able to, start a podcast, and we've been going for 3 years. I've been published as an author. I'm working on another book. I hosted a TV show, all these different things that I never expected to do, didn't plan to do, and these opportunities came up. So, it's fun to be able to express the creative side of things and, you know, show a different side of you to a lot of people because, especially military people are used to a certain type of person and the way you act, and you get to show them, the other side of yourself, and that can be really cool.
And that's huge. That's the power of creativity. And I think with I always talk about AI, but let me give you an example. I have a story for you, Shawn, and then I wanted to get your feedback on that story. So I'm going to make it a 1 minute short story, even though it could be an hour story. Uh, Basically, I had to restructure my business last year, and I had to take on a lot of the roles. Those are changing now as we've been making moving forward. But it was like being undercover boss, where I was learning new things to do that I never tried to do. And it brought my creativity back, which made me more excited each and every day, which makes me want to jump into the projects each and every day even more and say, yeah, we can do this, at Media Giant Productions, because the bottom line is it's fun to learn a new task. It's fun to try a new thing.
Right.
And with the ability to have the greatest teachers in the world behind you, you're like, holy cow, I got somebody can teach me this in seconds. I learn how to do it and I feel good about myself. Is there something out there that creatives have this like feeling of happiness, more happiness, or feel like more relaxed, or it seems like it's something of an accomplishment, especially if you're creating something that you're not having to do from that you're learning and going through the process and putting your own spin on things?
I would imagine that there's some sort of, internal drug release, like with all other types of things that, get your blood pumping. Something, what is it, serotonin, or I don't even know which chemical it is, but that release that, gives you that high within the body. And I mean, because some of the greatest ideas that I've heard, especially as it pertains to what we're doing with the podcast, has just been like conversations where we're just spitballing and BSing, if you will. And next thing you know, we're going down this line, we're flushing out an idea. And next thing you know, we got a new show or we got a new idea, a new concept, new t-shirt design, whatever the case may be, so it's, I like working in teams, and when you're able to bounce ideas back and forth and flush out this concept, it's just really cool. And it gives you that high and it makes you excited to do the next thing.
And when you have that high, it just kind of takes you to that next quintessential level, right? You feel this I'm ready to go. I feel excited about the next day, especially what you get to do at VET SOS. You just feel like excited every time you get to explore something new. I remember these things when I first started my radio podcast 15 plus years ago.
Oh yeah, some of the administrative stuff can get mundane and boring, and then
Yeah.
next thing you know, you're at a recording session again, and the whole thing just excites you again. So it's pretty cool the way that all works, and I'm just amazed how the whole thing is um, matured and developed over the years, and then the other organizations we've been able to talk to, whether it's other podcasters and what they're doing or organizations like Operation Song, where they team with songwriters to tell the veteran's story through song. I mean, you don't get any more creative than that. It's just absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. And it's a absolute powerful thing to do that, to create music. But this is the thing that anything you learn, if you're a lifelong learner, and I think you learned that in the military, didn't you, Sean?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That hopefully veterans do the same thing as they did in the military. And that's kind of have to knock your, like you getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day.
4:30, 4 o'clock,
4 o'clock. Okay,
4 o'clock.
I'm 3:30. I'm morning show now. I don't know if you saw morning show on Apple TV, but had to get up at 3:30 in the morning to do
Good
the
Lord.
broadcast. But I thought 4:30 was early, but 3:30 I'm trying to do now more. But go ahead
That's
with your point.
But it's, there's definitely things that are instilled in you when you're in the military, whether you embrace them or not. Being a lifelong learner is one of those things that is encouraged. And every time you can learn something and grow from it, I mean, it's just huge. And like we talked to an organization, True Top 1% Foundation, that, they're all about the art side of things and the creativity and releasing that side of your energy and using even your own habits to help do things. So that like they have I think it's beer bottle painting or something like that, where they actually use the bottom of a beer barrel to paint different pictures, and so it's kind of helping you with an issue you have, but also being therapeutic and creative at the same time. And Leader Transition Institute, you go through their from we to me program, and part of it is painting. And like most of us, as you're going through it, that's the day you're dreading. You're like, I don't want to paint. I hate painting, and next thing you know, you have this experience that is really just amazing. The whole process of going through it, and what comes of it, and different emotions and conversations and things that happen during the process is just, it's amazing. So you start to understand the power of creativity and art, and how it can really impact your life. And I think that's something that veterans can do a lot to get involved in things like that to help themselves.
Yeah, and that's the huge thing. And you're able to say to yourself, this is something I'm feel accomplished. I'm doing something, and I'm really establishing something. And I guess following those military values. That's the one thing, Sean, as I see every day you're getting up at the same time. A lot of people aren't disciplined. Discipline is something that is earned, right? To build that discipline. You continue to try more and more till you finally earn it to say, I can do this. I'm disciplined. That's why people say, oh, I'm not going to have that piece of cake, but yet they have that piece of cake the next day.
Well, I would say that my discipline comes and goes, for sure. Over the last 2 years of retirement, my discipline waned a little bit, so I'm trying to get it back and put it back in place. So hopefully, I'll be healthier and get back in the routines that I enjoy doing. But I think it's important that you take those things that are instilled in you from military service and continue to use them, and also find new ways. Like right now, I'm seriously looking at starting a garden at the house just to give me that little moment of zen to be out in the yard, out in nature, and you know cultivate some plants and some vegetables for meals and things like that. As something to do. I don't know if I'm gonna like it, But it's something I'm like, maybe this will be fun, something I can do. The dogs can run around the yard, and I just have my little moment of zen, and so we'll see.
All right. The best place to go. Where can we go, Shawn?
VetSOSpodcast.com. Find everything
Appreciate
right
it.
there.
Appreciate it, sir. Thanks again.
Thanks, Neil.
All right. You're